Hey guys, have I ever told you how much I love this bike? This is a transition Smuggler that's pretty old by any standards, still rocking an 11-speed drivetrain from Shimano. Down here it's an 11-speed XT derailleur. This is a GS version, so medium cage, but as of late a lot of you asked me to try this combination with the new 12-speed derailleurs. I'm actually going to do a couple of tests. First, trying this 2x12-speed derailleur, the SLX, and the other one is the M8100. This is the XT. My gut feeling is that this is going to work just fine because when they introduced the XTR, that was supposed to work with an 11-speed 1045 cassette with this GS derailleur, so pretty much the same as this with a shorter cage. We're going to use this 11-speed as a baseline. That's a YBN chain. The clutch is engaged and is well greased. Here's the shifting. So first of all, no excessive noises on the smallest cog, as you can see here. Here's the shifting, one by one. On the 46, I can back pedal at will with this, upshifting. Bunch at a time. So overall I'm very happy with this performance. Again, this is an 11 to 46 tooth cassette. First test is with the 7120, which is meant to work with the 2x or 1x drivetrains using the 1045 cassette. Same chain, cable and housing, clutch engaged, B-gap adjusted to the line that's specified on the outer cage. Here it is. And multiple at a time.
If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain.
Alright, so this works like a charm, slow motion or not. I'm not surprised, I kind of expected it, and I won't be surprised if this works the same or even better. This is the XT M8100. Do you guys see anything unusual here? This cable felt a bit short, first of all, so the housing didn't feel like it was long enough, so it's kind of a tight bend over here. Also, take a look at the cage. On the smallest cog, this being the 11-speed, you are used to seeing that a lot more horizontal, aren't you? Remember, we used the same chain here. This is properly sized for this bike, big to big plus 4 links. So let's see how the shifting goes. The problem is, first of all, I can't really get to 11 speed, to the 11 cog. And shifting up, a bit of a challenge. I can make it to the 46, and here I still have a little bit of play in my cage, so that shouldn't be the end of the world. But let's take a look at the B-gap. As you probably know, Shimano's giving us this line on the outer cage that's supposed to line up with the teeth on the biggest cog. Well, look at the gap here that I have. So not only that this is so wrong, but the problem that I'm having is if I use my B-gap adjustment, I can push it further out. There's no way for me to bring it any closer to that. Shimano built this derailleur to work with a bigger cassette like this. So if I superimpose it here, yes, it will come close to my B-gap adjustment. However, if you read the 12-speed Shimano documentation, you're going to see that they require longer chains. So I'm going to add a few links to mine and see if that changes anything. So with the other chain links, and I ended up with 5, I still have quite a ways to go here to my 51 tooth line. However, if I measure the distance here, let's say 52 millimeters distance between the axle and the bottom of the cassette. Surprise, surprise here is, if you read the old documentation introduced with the XTR, you will find that 52 millimeters actually listed in their manual. So now I can get to my 11 tooth cog. You can see the cage is pretty much parallel to the ground. This is the absolute limit. I can't make this chain any longer. Clutch is engaged. Let's see the shifting. Going to easier gears, not a big deal. Harder gears now. It goes, but it's a bit lazier than with the previous 2 derailleurs. Let's try a bunch at a time. I expected this to be the start of the show, but as I said, the shifting here on the bigger cogs is not that crisp. I expect as the chain wears out and has a bit more play in it to struggle even more to shift down. And let me show you one more thing. So this is my 11-speed GS derailleur that worked perfectly fine with my drivetrain. Look at this. So being installed side by side on the biggest cog, it would probably come down to here. Closer to the ground. This is a 29er. Just imagine that being on a 27.5 bike. On top of that, longer chain means more chain slap. I am at the very edge of adjustment at both ends of the cassette and still don't have proper shifting as per my liking. And that doesn't really make this the start of the show. If anything, it makes it the biggest disappointment of my little test here. Maybe if you were to use this with something like an 1150 11-speed cassette, that wouldn't be so bad. For this kind of range, your best option is definitely gonna be something like this, the 2x derailleur from Shimano, but this is even longer and bigger than the one we've tried. Your probably best bet would be the XTR 12-speed for 1045, which has the shorter GS cage. But that would make it way more expensive than necessary. For this kind of range on 11 speed, I would highly recommend considering a GS derailleur from Shimano. I usually prefer the XT versus SLX. You can configure this one for direct mount hangers if the frame requires it. Also, you can use this with 10 speed. So for 10 or 11 speed, Shimano GS derailleur is the way to go. And that's what my lovely transition smuggler it's gonna get. What about you folks? What are you planning to use for future upgrades? Are you going to consider any one of these? Let me know if you have any comments or questions in the section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep an eye on social media. And until next time, I'll see you folks on the trails, hopefully riding some 11-speed gears. Cheers folks. Cheers.